but when I re-signed my contract, I told him I only wanted this many matches. I've only got 2 more matches left, and then I am ready to be done. I've done a lot of matches, with slap fighting, and then with MMA and stuff, and I know getting hit to the head ain't exactly the best thing for somebody. I'm wanting to limit it down, and I've told my wife and my kids and everybody that we got 2 more matches, and then I'm hanging it up.
That makes
wearing a t-shirt that says never made.
I believe him. I think he's telling the truth.
Never Made Weight fam. Welcome back to the largest podcast in the world. Today we have a fan favorite at the top of his sport, Power Slap light heavyweight champion, the Wolverine, Ron Bata. How you doing, Ron?
Doing pretty good, bud. Glad to be here.
Power Slap 16 against Alan Klingbeil was one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life. How do you feel after a match like that? You feel like you fully recovered?
Yeah, I feel like I fully recovered after the match. I was disappointed. I didn't want to win by decision. But as far as now, yeah, I feel fully recovered, ready to go again.
Alan's tough as hell, but in the first few rounds, he was flinching a bit. Was that frustrating you in real time, or were you just like letting it go over your shoulder?
No, it was frustrating. I kept going over there. I'd throw my hands up on my way to the corner. Brandon was on the show, sitting there trying to talk to the ref about it. It's frustrating that he got away with a few of them.
Do you think the judging in Power Slap is consistent through the events, or do you think they're still trying to find the best way to judge these matches?
I don't think it'll ever be like a consistent. Hell, they still make mistakes in UFC all the time, so I expect it to be about like that. There's going to be mistakes here and there, so I don't ever expect it to be consistent.
Alan, who's a friend of the show, is a very, very tough guy. He's electric. He has a lot of energy. And the way he performed in that match was, I don't want to say surprising, but it was very impressive. Are you surprised he didn't get the rematch?
I am. I was hoping to have the rematch with him. He apologized for the couple flinches he did. I know round 2 when he didn't flinch, I put him down. So I was hoping to get the rematch with him. 1, just to give him another opportunity, but 2, so I had the opportunity to try to put him down myself again, and get the for sure win rather than just the judges win. So I was surprised. I was hoping he would get the rematch.
Not only are you at the top of your sport and a light heavyweight champion, but you're sort of a legend of this game. Everyone says so. How through the years have you had to deal with standing there and not flinching? Like, is that something that you ever had a problem with in your career?
No, even before Power Slap with Slap Fight Championship, everything, I've never flinched once. I just learned to, I did fighting for a long time, so I get with the fighters that say, they're used to it, but that's just when I close my eyes. And you don't know it's coming. So that'd be my thing. That's what I tell a lot of guys, if you feel like you're going to flinch, just close your eyes. Brace down and close your eyes.
I was thinking about that too, but some people say it's worse when you don't see it coming. So for you, you don't really get to have that experience. You have a good experience with closing your eyes.
I do. I watch it up until, they're going on 3. I watch them wind up once, watch them wind up the second time. But after the second time, that's when it's time to bite down, just close my eyes. That way, just in case they come up fast or they come up slower, I'm not trying to time it and trying to roll with it and trying to flinch. So, I'll watch it up until, I know it's coming. Then I just close my eyes to make sure I don't move at all.
Got it. And so what's the biggest technical adjustment that you've made since your first Power Slap match?
Stepping, pivoting. I did 30 cage fights. I'm used to pivoting that foot when I throw the right. So my first night of doing it was a tournament, and I went against Darius the Destroyer in the prelims before we got to the finals, and I should have won the prelim match. The only thing that stopped me was I had the penalty for stepping on, where he didn't. It took me a little while to learn how to undo that, but that was my hardest thing for me to have to overcome.
And just for the fans to know, whoever does, Power Slap is still fairly new, so people are still learning the rules and whatnot. I noticed that they changed the pivoting rules a couple times. Is that true?
Yeah, they with Slap Fight Championship, you weren't allowed to move it at all. With Power Slap, they allow us a slight heel lift, and but they don't tell you how much is slight. It's up to the refs up there to determine if it if it helped you gain more power or something. It's up to them to decide. Because when people are throwing punches, if you throw a flat-footed punch compared to where you actually pivot and turn into it, there's more power there. So a lot of people are thinking we're just going up there and smacking each other with every bit of power you got, but you're really not. Because you have to be flat-footed. So it's there's a lot more that goes into it than just smacking the hell out of each other.
Are you a fan of the no pivot rule?
Yeah, I do not like any slight heel lift. Yeah, I like no pivoting, no lifting your heel at all. I wear boots, day to day anyway, but I like them on stage just because they're heavier. They'll hold my feet down, so whereas compared to like a light tennis shoe.
Yeah, I would imagine that would help a lot wearing those boots. So I also feel like, the no pivoting rule probably is really healthy. Much more healthy than taking a slap with a pivot, because that can get pretty bad, right?
Yes, sir.
You're already taking a rocket.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because you're defenseless up there. So I do understand all everybody's concerned with it and stuff like that, but it's not 100% power if they're not pivoting, not lifting their foot up. So I think yeah, I'm a fan of no pivoting, no heel lift, no nothing.
That's great. That's great. Okay. March 6th, Power Slap 18.
Yes, sir.
Power Slap 8, March 6th. You're defending your belt in the main event against the Crazy Hawaiian.
Yes, sir.
As we know, as we know, Crazy Hawaiian has lost probably like 200 pounds by now. So that's fighting you. Crazy Hawaiian was in the super heavyweight division.
Yes,
When
sir.
you heard the name Crazy Hawaiian, what's the first thought that came into your mind?
Man, I've known Crazy Hawaiian. He actually started with me at Slap Fight Championship on the same night. So I've known him for years and years. And he's always been a heavier guy. He showed me pictures when he was younger, and he was a more fit, before he got heavy. But I never thought, people would comment, want to see the Crazy Hawaiian against the Wolverine before Power Slap came. But they wouldn't allow that with the weight difference. So I've heard it, never thought it would ever be a matchup. And then, when he said he had his surgery and he's getting fit, and they mentioned that, they pitched me the name that's going to be my next opponent. That's a hell of a matchup. I'm excited for.
You guys have something in common. It's the beard. Obviously, he has a way bigger one, right?
Yes,
But
sir.
you guys both have really full beards. Can you talk about the impact that has on your game?
I don't think it affects it at all myself. I've shaved it off before. I shaved it off against Allen. I've shaved it off even pre-Power Slap. So I've done it with both the beard and no beard. I personally don't think it does anything. It shows the damage that's under my beard, but that damage is still there regardless. If you got another 200-pound man, trying to put all of his weight into, and I'm defenseless, that little bit of, hair ain't gonna stop.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna stop nothing. So yeah, I'm all for either one. I've always been told, it's kind of like, the NBA players. You got a 6'2" guy and a 6'10" guy. Does the 6'10" guy got to lower down just because he's taller? No, just because I can grow a beard doesn't mean I should have to shave.
Yeah. I don't think anyone should be forced to shave, but as a fan, when I look at it from the outside, maybe it's just because the super heavyweights all have beards and they have strong chins. Maybe that's why I felt that way. But it seemed like having a beard would be a little better. We've seen Babyface. Babyface hadn't been finished his whole career. You know what I mean? And he has no beard. So I guess that doesn't support that fact. But have you heard it before?
Yeah, all the time. Every time I hear about the beard helps, this, that, or the other. But, and that's why I've done a few matches without it, just to show that, you can take it with or without the beard. I like having the beard on just because I'm not a fan of a clean face. I'm not a businessman. So I like the beard for warmth.
That sounds great. Same here. What makes the crazy Hawaiian dangerous specifically? Like power, timing, chin, maybe just
I
the
mean,
confidence, the support he has in the crowd.
I mean, obviously he's got the crowd. I mean, I'm a fan of Crazy Wine myself. I mean, I like what he does for the sport. He's a really great guy. And the power I think is there too. I'm hoping the chin from super heavyweight didn't follow him down here to light heavyweight. Because I know I took shots a lot better at heavyweight, when I weighed more, like even now, compared to when I lose the weight and cut down to 205. I take shots a lot better at a heavier weight. Hoping the chin didn't follow him, but I mean, the power, the crowd behind him, which that amps up everybody. He's got a couple factors that, it's going to make it tough.
Is there any adjustment you're making for the specific opponent now, or do you just go out there as classic you?
For Crazy Wine, I'm not making no adjustment. I mean, he's not, with like Russell, I had to try to work on trying to hit somebody like a lot shorter. Crazy Wine's about my height, so I mean, I don't really have to worry about all that. Crazy Wine ain't somebody that really flinches. The only problem he has is he tries to lean into it rather than try to roll away from it, so I don't have to worry about speeding it up to try to get it there before he flinches, because he don't do that. So yeah, I don't have to make any special adjustments for Crazy One. I just got to go out there and, be at my best.
Yeah. And after leading up to this fight, like, what does your preparation, your day-to-day preparation look like?
I'm just working on strength, honestly. I know he's, I mean, he lost all that weight, but I know he was a strong guy before he got all that weight on. He was a strong guy when he was a super heavyweight. I don't see him, diminishing, to where he's, not strong at all. So I'm expecting him to be strong. So I'm just trying to work on my strength, trying to work on my power hitting him. Because, like I said, that's my one hope is that his chin didn't quite follow him down. So I'm just going to try to work on power and putting him down early.
He's the crazy Hawaiian. You're from Mountain Home, Arkansas. Can you tell us a little bit about your hometown?
It's a little town. Probably takes about 15, 20 minutes to drive, all the way around it. When I was in school, we had a class of like, 37 people. I mean, I like it. It's laid back. You got a few stores you can go to. You ain't got malls and stuff. It's not like when I go to Vegas, you're worried about bumping into people left and right. You ain't got to worry about that there. So I like the quiet atmosphere. I mean, I like when I go to Vegas too, but coming home, I like the quiet atmosphere. I ain't got to worry about, running into a bunch of people. It's laid back.
Growing up, I know you played baseball, but who did you think you were going to be as a kid?
I was going to play baseball as a kid. I mean, I practiced all the time. I got talked to from a couple colleges. That's what I wanted to do. And then I dropped out of school and started working, became a father. So that didn't happen. And then I got with JT Tilley, the founder of Slap Fight Championship. And I was doing MMA for a long time just because I enjoyed sports and I wanted to do something. So it wasn't very good, but I enjoyed going out there and trying. And then, when I was wrapping up MMA, JT called me about Slap Fight Championship and thought I'd be real good for it. I told him, nah, that don't look like it's for me. Probably his third event when I flew out there. So I was living in Florida for about a year at that time and flew out there and competed. And I loved it. So, growing up though, I thought I'd be a baseball player, but kind of went the other way.
Power Slap has new fans every day. Me, myself, I'm trying to get everyone I know into Power Slap because I personally love this sport. But for somebody who just started watching and they see you're at the top of your division, you're this well-renowned Power Slap athlete, and they hear, oh, this guy he used to have the belt, and then he left, and then he came back and won the belt again. Can you kind of summarize that story for new fans?
I had after the Vern matchup, I figured I'd had 20 power slap or, slap fighting matches. I've done, countless, 30 MMA fights, couple K1 fights. I was ready to wrap it up and just spend time with the family instead of traveling, so I retired and, they called me back and they're like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure. And then we had personal issues pop up, so I needed the money. And, I know everybody jokes about how they don't really pay us much, but they pay us pretty good. So I contacted them. I told them I needed one more contract, and so they got me the match with with Russell. But they said that you'd still be champion, so I didn't ever actually lose the belt because they never listed me as retired. So they thought I'd changed my mind, and I'm glad they did. You make more money in title matches than regular matches, so I needed to come back, for a paycheck. But when I re-signed my contract, I told them I only wanted this many matches. I've only got 2 more matches left, and then I am ready to be done. I've done a lot of matches, with slap fighting, and then with MMA and stuff, and and I know getting hit to the head ain't exactly the best thing for somebody. I'm wanting to limit it down, and I've told my wife and my kids and everybody that we got 2 more matches, and then I'm hanging it up.
That makes sense, man. That makes sense on a super human level. Sometimes we forget these athletes are humans. So thank you for clearing that up. But Ron, it seems like you've been in and out of all these combat sports, and when people see power slap, they say, "Oh, you have to be crazy to do that." You know what I mean? So my thing is, like, I just know that you have to have a lot of nuts to do that. How's your relationship with fear?
Everybody gets nervous. I would think, whether it be fighters, pro football players like yesterday, everybody gets nervous. I think when you're going to the event, like when I'm riding the shuttle over to the, wherever it's competing at, whether it be in Vegas or, across seas. But I think whenever the time comes and they're like, all right, it's time for you to start walking out, that just goes away. And then it's, it's my job. You get a show-up check and get a win check. The other dude that's standing across from you, standing in my way of my win checks, the fear kind of just goes away. But I'm nervous, leading up to the matchup, all week. It's in my mind like, damn, hopefully I don't lose, this, that, or the other. Yeah, when the time comes, it kind of goes away.
Do you have a message for the crazy Hawaiian?
Hell, I don't really got a mean message. I'm looking forward to this matchup. I like the crazy Hawaiian. He's a good guy. I just want to go out there, put on a show, and I expect to come away with the win.
You have a message for your fans?
I appreciate all y'all supporting me. I try to make time. If anybody wants to talk, just give me a holler. I appreciate y'all watching and supporting.
Guys, if you try to contact Wolverine and realize that there's a fake account out there trying to act like it's him, I just want to let you know it's wolverine.slap on Instagram, right?
Yes, sir.
That's the only real account for Wolverine.
I promise you, I'm going to answer you immediately. Even like yourself, I struggle with Instagram. I'm still old. I like Facebook, so I popped on Instagram every now and again. But yeah, I'll get back to you.
Hey, Ron, thank you so much for taking the time to do this today. I'll be there March 6th. I wish you the best of luck, man.
All right, bud. I appreciate it. Thank you. And you just let me know. I'll come, do an in-person interview if you'd like.
Hell yeah, I would love that. Guys, thank you for watching the largest podcast in the world, Never Made Weight. Tune in next week.
Wearing a t-shirt that says never made.
I believe him. I think he's telling the truth.